Hello ladies and gentlemen and welcome back to Dickie's Videos, where no war game of course remains unplayed. Here we are again with of course Field of Glory 2 series hints and tips ranging from pros, cons and anything in between. Please comment below, agreeing, disagreeing, and let's have a fantastic. So today ladies and gentlemen, as we looked at the veteran African Spearmen for the previous tip, we're now looking at the African Spearmen versus a singular imitation Legionary. And of course we'll just look at some of the pros and tips. These are both taken from the Carthaginian in Hannibal, Italy 216-203. So as we discussed before in the previous video with the African Spearmen, what an absolute banger of a unit this is. Like I said, very few cons for this unit. The fact is the only con I can see is the expense of the unit, but of course the expense of the unit, and of course it being heavy foot, negating any difficult terrain modifiers or popping into deep streams. So of course we're going to see how it fares well with an imitation leader unit and seeing what we can do, what would be the better thing here, how it deals with an impact unit. And unfortunately, the imitation leader is probably a poor example of a decent impact unit. But it is what it is. We'll have a quick look at the imitation leader. So it is a Roman style foot with Spearman sword, heavy foot, impact swordsman. Remember the negative I was talking about, the negative I was talking about was that the fact is the veteran African Spearman is only a offensive spearman. He isn't a swordsman, he's a spearman. Average, some armor, steady of course. So remember, of course, we're looking at impact. So impact plus 200 versus enemy foot. Extreme modifier on enemy's foot units just losing impact. Plus from enemies and mounted unless are charging mounted troops. So we get swordsman plus 100 POA versus any mounted, plus 100 against any foot unless steady offensive spearman. So there we go. Like I said before, it's just a swordsman. Defensive spearman or defending obstacle plus 50. So remember, the very graphic spearman is an offensive spearman. So let's have a look at the modifiers. So there we go. Let's have a quick look at the impact. So the Legionaries is instantly getting a 200 POA there for that charge. The offensive, the African Spearmen getting a measly 100 plus the troop quality, because that is then giving the net for the imitation just that extra for the impact foot. 16%, and we've got a win of 27 and a draw of 67. And of course the combat goes on to the so in the just the general melee, POA advantage is swordsman, but of course this is where the veteran African Spearmen really do shine with the offensive spear, armor, troop quality, and also remember chucking any sub-general or CNC into there. So let's have a quick see what happens in the next couple of turns. We're going to charge the Legionaries in and see if we can get a cheeky charge. I mean, to us, it's always worth chucking them in there. They may beat them. They've got a 27. It's more likely going to be indecisive here. Let's charge in. So there we go. We score an indecisive hit against the veteran Spearman, but remember the veteran Spearman will of course grind the poor Legionaries down. So there we go. Now we're in the melee, and of course the net modifiers going back towards the African Spearman. So we'll do this combat here. So back again to it there. We're looking at a good 50-50 nearly thing, but remember this is just a one-on-one situation with this, which, like I said, on a good day you may get lucky with a cohesion drop of the African Spearman, but of course, like we said before in the previous videos, superior quality, you pay for what you get for in Field of Glory. You pay cheap, you get cheap. So I reckon on a whole one-on-one basis here, the veteran African Spearman will become victorious here. So we're just going to quickly fight this through, see if we can beat the imitation leaders. Nope, we're just forced back. But just in a case, is that really a bad thing for the veteran, for the imitation leaders? No, it isn't, because we are able yet again to try and charge in to lose cohesion with the impact. So do or don't, do or die there really. It's not particularly too bad. So we'll go with that again. And we're indecisive again. But remember, both units are going to be losing strength value here. So even though we're losing more. We're losing more here. Our casualties are high. So how many casualties did we get here straight away? So... Oh, we can just check the thing. So we've lost just over 100 strength on the imitation. We've just lost about 50-something on the thing. So on an even scale here, the veteran African spearmen are actually winning the day here. First cohesion check for the imitation lead mean they lose. So, where are we? Points of combat, combat modifiers, enemy 1, our casualties 41. Imitation lose the clone against the veteran African spearmen. Morale, we're steady, but we're below the 75% mark. We are, of course, took melee casualties, lost the comrade badly, heavy foot, but -2 modifiers for the 2 up above, and that causes disruption. So now it's just, unfortunately now, for the things. And this, of course, then, this is where the African spearmen come into their own. They're not, they're still losing that impact. That's what I really messaged before, is that impact. And we've got indecisive, and I think we can drop it there. And we got pushed back again. We should have put this these units not next to a what do you call it, a lake. And we've got a lucky rally. We'll go back again. Oh, he did it! He did it! He did it! This is what I'm talking about. This is why I love Field of Glory so much. These things can happen. They can do that. I think we might actually get a lucky win here that the veteran African spearmen lose. But I think even with the POA values, oh, it comes back. It comes down to a indecisive more than anything. There we go again. I reckon the African spearmen will rally here. So we're looking at a 9 win, 81 but 10 loss. We may go down to an auto break situation here. There we go. Like I said, yeah, literally, that I called it there. That is exactly what it was. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Quite interesting tactics right there. But remember, when you chuck terrain into the whole battle, and you of course chuck terrain, you chuck other units into the fray, it adds a little bit more complexity than just this one-on-one thing. But on a good day, on most days, the veteran African spearmen will win that fight against the imitation Legionaries. But of course, the impact foot of the imitation Legionaries could change that balance. But please remember, terrain factors, other units. Terrain is going to be a factor. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Imitation Legionaries 0, vet spearmen 1. Click the like and subscribe button, and of course check the other videos in the series. And there we go, folks.